Good morning. Good morning. Sunday, November 10th, 8 o'clock a.m. Ready for another coaching week with Accelerators Organization. Sean Thomas, your host, here with Tyler, Justin, and Heather. Good to see you guys. Have had a great week. How was everybody's week this week?
Pretty good.
Any big news? Have any big news? Anything big happen? Good, bad, ugly?
We got some more accounts this week.
Yay.
Yeah, it's
That's
exciting.
what we're talking about. Tell us about
it. We picked up 3 more retail accounts, and we're still working on hotels. We have one hotel that wants to talk to us about soap in their gift shop. So that's awesome. The only issue we're really having this week is that we're running out of soap. One of our soap makers has been out for a couple of weeks. So that's left us with one soap maker. So actually today I'm going to have to jump into the soap shop. We're both going to have to make soap this week. So we're kind of wondering, do we stop this week with trying to get retail accounts? Because we can't probably fully get their order to them if they wanted 50 soaps or so, and just like get caught up on making soap. I think we could stand to work on hotels because we don't have those soaps made anyway. So we would have to make those. But as far as the retail accounts go, I don't think we could fill very many orders this week.
Isn't this a coincidence? What was one of the very first questions that I asked the two of you when we had our first coaching call together?
I don't remember.
What are your production capabilities? And your guys were like, oh, we got plenty. We can make plenty because we freeze them. We got no problem with production. And here you are after
we haven't had a problem.
Boom, boom. It's like I've almost been in business for a few years, huh, Heather?
Say that again.
It's like I've almost understood business for a few years, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Well, you know, we haven't had any issues.
Well, of course, because you guys haven't been selling more than $50,000 a year. Of course, you're not going to have any problems with production because you guys aren't selling any.
Well, we are now.
So this is exactly what mentorship and coaching with experienced business and mentors are about.
Mm-hmm.
We have the foresight because we used to be in your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember. And when you've been in business and different business models a lot, to recognize what potential problems can be. When you're in where JB were, you're just like, I just want to figure out where my next sale is going to come from. And I'm going, no. I'm not worried about your next sale. I know you're going to make 10, 20, 30 sales. I'm worried about what happens when you succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Can you keep up with production? And now you're like, wow, we might not be able to. Imagine, you know, if you got a big order from a hotel of 1,000 soaps. And they're like, yeah, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, see, that's one of the problems that we're kind of trying to figure out with hotels, because we would need a lot of those soaps in stock, but it would take us 2 weeks to make them. And I don't want to get an account and say, oh, it's going to be 2 weeks though before we get your soap to you. So we're kind of like in a weird spot with that.
So how do you solve that?
The only thing that we can think is go ahead and start making them, but we don't really know. See, one of the problems that JB, I think it's going to create a problem. He keeps offering, we can customize your scents to whatever you want. I don't know if he's doing that because he just wants the account, but I keep saying, please don't do that. Give them 4 scents to choose from. So we're kind of in a weird spot with that. Because if we only had 4 to offer, we could go ahead and make those and give them the choice of only having 4 soaps to choose from.
I certainly think you should look at the time that you guys have been in business. What are the most popular fragrances that hit the broadest group of people? You know, hotels are definitely going to want things lavender, citrus. You know, they're probably not going to want the sandalwood and, you know, the musky. Want fresh, clean, you know, the fresh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
springy types. I agree. You guys have got to solve that production issue. You guys have
Mm-hmm.
got to go to the table and say, and go back to answering the question that I asked you guys, which is, what is our production capability per year?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you produce $1 million worth of soaps a year to sell $1 million worth of soap? Because if that's the case, which is great, then you're gonna hopefully net 500,000, and that's great. It's a great living, but can you produce 2 million? Can you produce 5 million? Like, or can it only be 300,000? What is the production capabilities of your business? It's really
Mm-hmm.
important to know that. I'll share with you a story. When I first started out my last business, we were putting these computers in hotel lobbies for, like internet kiosks. And we had a bunch of business with hotels. We were installed in a couple hundred hotels, which I thought was a lot, right? And my business partner, who came on, he was my mentor, and then he became a business partner. He had relationships with Marriott. So we flew up to Marriott and he introduced me, and I started developing relationships with Marriott. And one of the tech guys at Marriott that was kind of tasked with being in charge with the future of the rollout of these internet kiosks, right as we're about to sign a contract with Courtyard by Marriott, they flew me up there, and they brought in some of the brand people and the executives. And one of the first questions they asked me was, can you handle us signing a contract with you like this? Now, had never heard a question like that asked when I'm trying to make a sale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yes, we can handle it. And they said, well, tell us how you're going to handle it. Because if we sign this contract to mandate your computer system in all of our 450 hotels, and some of them are going to have 2 systems, do you have the money to buy all those computers? Do you have the people to do all the installations? And we had to walk them through that. Yes, we had the systems and processes down. And they said, the reason we're asking you this, Sean, is because we know that right now you're a small company. We have bankrupted companies, literally. Marriott will sign a contract with a small company like yours, and then we will bankrupt you because you can't handle the business, and you end up going out of business. And we don't want that to happen to us, and we don't want it to happen to you, because they knew the power of volume. And that's why I'm asking you guys, is you have to understand, we as business owners, we have to understand our capabilities, at least maybe not down to the penny or anything, but we've got to be able to say, oh, yes, I know I can ramp out 1,000 soaps a week, 500 a week, 200 a week. I know what my capabilities are. And it's okay to be out in front of and go out there and continue to sell to the hotels that you're selling to and the retail shops and what have you. Just understanding your whole pitch is, we are a locally owned and manufactured, farm. We are not a global facility that's pumping out millions of bars of soaps. The reason we cost more is because it's limited production and it's handmade.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't need thousands of customers, because you probably won't be able to even handle the production. So if I know with our goats and our facility and maybe being able to hire a few people, I know that we could put out per year this much soap. And if we put out and just sold out every year, that's a comfortable living for JB and I. We don't have aspirations to be a $20 billion company. We just want to have a great farm, do some soaps, do some goats, have stability, and have people demanding our stuff, as opposed to us having to go out there and, peddle it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the position that we're trying to put you and JB in, is that you don't stop the sales process. You figure out how to produce more.
Mm-hmm.
You don't stop producing. You don't stop selling during the day, during those sellable hours that we've talked about in previous Zooms. You guys got to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning producing soap. You got to do those after hours in the times that JB can't be calling on hotels. And then you might have to find another worker that can come in there and help you with soaps. Like, you've got to solve that problem, but don't stop the sales process. Keep the sales process going.
Okay.
I'd rather tell somebody, hey, sorry, we've been trying to sell you for 2 months. You finally put in an order. Now we're back ordered. It's going to be 3 months. Let's not let this happen. Let's sign an annual contract for, 500 bars of soap every month. And that way we'll just get you in the system and you'll always get your orders. Right? You want to get to the point where people are demanding because you got such a cool product.
Mm-hmm.
There are farms at the farmers markets now. They're running out of eggs that they're selling. We went to the farmers market yesterday, the place that we ordinarily buy eggs from. They were out by 9:30. They were sold out.
Mm-hmm.
More and more people are buying your type of product because they're sick of all of the stuff that's out there. So that's the mindset you want to be in. Keep the sales going. Don't get so afraid and scared that we can't fill orders. You can apologize to the customers and say, hey, Lucy, our main goat, she decided she wanted to sleep in this week, so we're a little slow on our production, but we're going to keep you up to date and we're going to call. You make it a story, like he's a chief goat herder. You make it a story. You guys are a family-based business. That's fun.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, JB had some fun interactions with one of the hotel people this week by the email. It was titled Greetings from the Goat Farm. Somebody opened it. He told the story of the farm, and the guy was like, oh man, we get our soaps already from Beekman. They sell them to us for 24 cents a bar, and Beekman makes goat milk soap, but they're obviously a big production. And so they did a back and forth for a little while, and JB told him, hey, if anything happens, sorry that I hate to hear that you're ordering from them, blah, 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 whatever. But as a thank you for your time, here's a few pictures of our goats. So he sends pictures of the goats, and the guy writes back, oh, I feel so bad. I feel like I'm letting your kids down now. But if anything happens, we will reach back out. So that was kind of fun and cute. But yeah,
and that's good. That's good information for you guys to have to understand that there's another company called Beekman's that's selling to the hotel industry. I would be doing my research on Beekman's. Okay, well, what's different? Are they a farm? Are they, hand making these things? Or, what's the differentiation between your farm and their farm of what you can do and why your cost is, $1.25 a bar? What you differentiate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to find out if that company has minimums. Maybe they go, you know what, we're so big, our minimums are this, and you're calling on smaller properties that they won't even do business with. Find out where that niche is for you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
The more you get out there, the more you're going to find competition. But remember, you only need 10, 20, 30 hotels, and you guys are going to be at full capacity. So that's why we always keep that phone going.
We will do that.
You've got to solve that production issue. You've got to get to where you go, I know that we can produce this much per year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sell against that.
All right.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Keep putting some pictures of the farm and goats in the Flex Fridays.
Say that again. Keep
putting pictures of the farm and the goats and stuff on the Flex Fridays.
Okay. We will do that. That's one of my favorite things to do is photograph the goats.
Absolutely.
Who were out in the yard as this call was starting this morning. That's why I was late.
Yep, and I still think, and Justin is a great person to get feedback on this. Is I still think you guys really getting set up in the facility and stuff to continue doing live streaming. You might just be able to pick up a great audience of people that are going to buy from you as well. Your margins will be higher going direct to consumer than wholesale. So it's slowly but surely, if you could build up that great direct to consumer marketing strategy through your own website. You don't need that many customers to be able to just sell out every season or throughout the year, whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
So pick Justin's brain from time to time. He's the live stream marketing expert.
Okay. Yeah, I've tried live streaming and I get so awkward. God, I hate it. I am chatting with everybody and then there's a lull. I have no idea what to say, and my go-to every time is, okay, y'all, I gotta go bye. So
I think you just put up a camera and you just let people watch you milking goats, and you watch people you just let them watch. You don't even have to interact hardly at all.
Well,
You
that's
just let
good to
people
know.
watch. People love, right, Justin? People just love being voyeurs.
Oh, you'd have thousands of people watching you with the goats. Thousands, I bet.
Well,
Yep.
I did set up one day outside, but my internet is so awful out here. When I step outside of the house, it'll go for a second, then turn off. I had baby goats out in the garden one day, and I had like almost 1,000 people pop in like that, and then the
Wow.
damn internet goes out. So that is an issue I need to figure out.
Check Starlink.
Starlink.
Yep, Starlink.
Okay.
See if Starlink is available in your area. If it
Okay.
is, it'll fix your internet problem. All right. Who is next? We know Joe had a great week. Joe, what's your week look like this week? What you got going on? I don't know why my mustache is itching today.
Busy week. We got a ton of inspections. We're almost full and booked up for the week, which is awesome. I have some great networking events, and I have 2 meetings with our preferred partners to go over what happened in 2024 from a numbers perspective. And then we're also mapping out a pathway to success for 2025. I have renegotiated all of my preferred partner agreements with my realtor brokerages, and the new leadership change at Keller Williams, which is where we have an office in, is it's unbelievable what a change in leadership can do to an entire culture and organization, because we have never felt more embraced and wanted in the last year and a half than we do right now. So I'm really, really pumped to go over the numbers and to really put some hard numbers down for some goals that they're going to have to hit in order for us to continue the partnership.
Yep. And are you going to go ahead and you already have plans to announce raising your rates January 1st?
Yeah, I mean, we're not, as of right now, there's no rate hike that we're doing because we're already getting a lot of pushback from clients. Our value proposition's already there. So we're going to keep everything steady as it is. We just need more volume. And, that's the name of the game for us. So the fact that we only did 36 inspections for Keller Williams this year, when we should have done 300 or 400 for them, is very problematic based on what we put out from a expense perspective. So they have a new game plan now of how to get us involved with everyone and how to put us forefront and center. And I'm excited about it.
What do you think led to that situation where you only got that much?
They had some really bad leadership that sold us a bill of goods and didn't live up to their end of the bargain. But I think now with the change in leadership, the new office, I mean, everything's just getting changed there. Their culture is bad. They lost I think 35% of their agents left this year that they had, which is a giant number. So
How many agents do they have?
they're up to like 160 some right now.
Where was the rest of the business going?
Oh, to anywhere and everywhere, not to us.
Was there not a way each month with your preferred programs like that you could meet with them and say, hey, I see that you guys closed 100 houses this month. We only got 10 of those. What's going on?
I did have those conversations. Unfortunately, I just didn't go anywhere.
So every single month you're having a conversation with that guy that signed the contract with you, and you're like, listen, we're paying you for this. What's up? That he wouldn't let
Yeah.
you do anything, and he wouldn't let you do anything more to be in front of the agents.
They just kept telling us like, okay, well, like come to this thing and like, let's put you on the books for this. And like, we kept trying to push it. Nothing happened. So as soon as she left and now the new guy's in, it's just, he's had his hands full and now they're finally wrapping their arms around Joe, the home pro. Our other big one is up to 24 agents right now. So she has doubled her team this year and we're getting 70 to 80% of their business. And so we have stolen that share from the largest home inspection company in Southwest Florida because they had the whole thing locked down. And in the last 9 months, we've been able to take over 70% of their entire portfolio. So we've made some good inroads.
Man, that would just upset me.
Oh, I'm beyond pissed. And that's why I told him, because before we moved, I said, you need to tell me if you want to have Joe the Home Pro as part of your office moving forward, because right now, the amount of business that we're doing and what we're getting back, it's not working. And I'm like, I'm really, really kind of upset and bitter. I'm like, especially when you were our very first preferred partner that we signed. And I have 3 other brokerages that are begging me to come and have an office inside of their office. I was like, so you need to tell me how bad you really want this and what you're going to do, because we have proven time and again of here's what we're willing to do. And I have a really good relationship with this guy, so I could have like that frank conversation with him. And again, he was super receptive. And the broker popped in the other day to talk to me for a while, apologized, said, hey, we need to do a better job. I said, it's all good. Like, but we just need to, here's the expectation level for next year.
Doesn't sound like it's all good to me.
Well, it will be, because if not, we're just not going to be there and we're going to go down the road. It's all good. I mean, I don't lose either way. I'm going to win.
Hmm. So once again, though, is it the broker that makes the decision of who the agent chooses as the home inspector, or is the home? See, that's still the issue. Is you sign a preferred partner program with XYZ broker, the broker can, put out notices and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's still the relationship with the agent, right?
For the like, to a big majority it is, but the other problem is like we have agents now that we have incredibly tight relationships with, and they're like, listen, we give everybody 2 or 3 choices. You're at the top, but they have the ability to, and some of that is legal on their part. Like their broker doesn't want them just, throwing everybody to one person or whatever. So there's a liability factor in there too. But again,
Well, let
we're,
me ask you this. Let's break that down.
yeah.
So an agent, so it's the buyer that pays for the home inspection, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the person that's buying has an agent that's representing them, correct?
Correct.
The agent tells them that you need to get a home inspection, right? Or the buyer
Mhm.
brings it up. One of them brings it up, right? Does the buyer's agent, how did they give the list of the home inspection companies?
All
In
everyone
writing?
does.
Can you help draft that and have a standardized template that really showcases? Because imagine like on a menu, like when I remember when we had a print division of our company, and there's an art to the way that restaurants will design menus to sell their highest price, highest margin items. They will have all the items, but they'll have the featured in the bordered box, and then they'll have the other options. And the feature almost always gets the majority of the sales because, ooh, this is the Outback Special.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you can work to create a template for your agents that for them to use that really showcases Joe the Home Pro?
So yes, and a little bit of no. Yes, in the sense of we already have a really nice, like logoed graphic, professionally done piece of literature that has their preferred pricing on it that we send out to all the agents. Some agents, the problem is that like some agents, like just yesterday, agent called me and he's like, hey, I got 2 for this week on these condos. I'll send you the information. Boom, done. Then you have other agents that are like, I sent your name out to my buyers and they might be reaching out to you. So it just depends. But what we've tried to do is at least say, here's your preferred pricing. So
Are
that way
they
they,
allowed to? Are they allowed to give Are they allowed to give you the buyer's contact information?
oh yeah, a lot of times they do. They're like, hey, we got this place under contract. Here's my buyers. Reach out to them to schedule the inspection.
That might be a way for you to beat the other 3, is if you say, hey, listen, you can give the 3, but shoot me. We have we're the preferred partner with you. We're paying you, per se, if you will, by giving you pricing discount and buying lunches. If you can get them to be in the habit of giving you the buyer's information so that you can call the buyer before they even reach out to the other 2 potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could be another option. I'm just thinking, there's got to be a way. If my agent said, hey, call this company, here's 3 companies, and they pushed me towards a certain direction, I'm going to go that direction.
But it also comes down to that relationship, like you mentioned, right? Because some people are going to price shop it no matter what. And like
think so?
it happens a lot where like we'll lose an inspection and the agent is like, I'm so pissed they went with this other company. Like I told them to use you and you know, it happens because at the end of the day, the buyer's in the driver's seat to an extent. But there's some agents that are just like, and the agents that just like push it to us, those are at like a higher level agent. And they're just like, no, we're going to set everything up for you because they're going to white glove concierge it for their client. So it's just a matter of us continuing to get in front of as many people as we can and make as many friends as we can. And I just signed a deal with our real producers, which goes out to the top 500 agents in Naples. We're going to split our sponsorship with them to now include Lee County. So now we'll be in both magazines. So we'll go into the top 1,000 agents in Southwest Florida. So that'll help give us a better presence. I can then start going to those events. I got some good stuff that I'm really excited about for 2025. And we finalized our preferred partner agreement to where we flip the tables to where instead of a brokerage coming to us and saying, here's X number of dollars and here's what we'll give you. Now we're telling agents, no, 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 you join our program. Here's what we're going to give you. And we're flipping the whole table on them. And we've had two new teams sign up with us that are like, wow, this is really good. I really like this. This is great. So
And the preferred, that's awesome. The preferred providers. So take that Keller Williams. Remember we talked about this. Is there a way for you to see how many closings Keller Williams had each and every month?
yeah, I don't know if there
And are
is or
you
not.
going?
I mean,
I'd want to find that out. Is there a way that your marketing person or your admin person for every preferred partner relationship, here's how many closings you had, here's how many home inspections we had. And like that's a report that we go over as part of our preferred partner program. Because if they sell, I mean, think about it, they sell 30, you got 36 deals out of that. If they were selling 100 homes a month, you're getting like nothing. Like if that would, I'm just still pissed. I'm still pissed.
well, I am too. That's why exactly why we had this meeting. I called this meeting with them before we moved the office. So I was like, I'm not going to go through all this if it's going to be the same song and dance.
Something tells me there's a process still that we can work on with that to get people, hey, if we have a preferred pricing program, I need to know how many closings you did each month. And then I'll tell you how many inspections we did so we see the gap.
Part of
And
that is
that's
having the right team member, and I didn't have the right team member before to be able to really follow up on that and understand it, and I had to manage the whole thing. Now I do. So it is something that we're going to be working on, and that's exactly why I called two other meetings for next week for other preferred partners because I'm like, we're going to figure this out. And then Sarah, my ops manager, is going to be able to send them a report every month going, this is our production with you. Here's what we did.
yes.
And then we'll need to figure out, and these are questions I can ask next week from them. How can you send us what your closings were for the month? And we want to put our number up against your number, and then we can really see where things are at. Because after 6 months, if we're not where we should be, there's no point in us continuing this, or we need to tweak something.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's got to be a relationship there for what's called pull through. If I'm sponsoring, then the pull through of clients has to be there. And if there's
Yeah.
no tracking of that data, then you go 6 months not realizing, and then boom, you're like, holy crap, we only had 36 closings. That's crazy. There's,
Yeah. So I'm excited about some of the business development stuff we have going on for next week. I'm excited that business levels are good. I'm getting back in there a little bit too. We're just we're pushing through to hit 600,000 plus by the end of the year. So
cool, cool. Awesome, awesome. Sweet. Million next year. And then where are you at on the acquisition?
I'm not sure because of my conversation I had the other day with with our buddy, our CFO. So I need to see. My banker is still working on getting all the things figured out and everything. But yeah, we'll talk about that this week, you and I, and figure out if that's something that we still need to move forward with or what we should be doing.
Yeah, let's get a meeting with Hurley. So Joe's looking at acquiring another business, so now we need to cash flow it out. So he's going to borrow money to buy the business. Going to take a look at the cash flow and weigh that against and see if the deal pays for itself. So Kristen, who has a chiropractic office, she did the exact same thing. She projected it out of what she was going to buy the business for. She borrowed the money, and she knows what level of cash flow she has to bring in on a monthly basis to pay the note and pay herself and, put some money aside. So we projected out what that would look like. And so we need to do that with yours so that you can feel comfortable going, okay, if I borrow this, this is the debt service. This is what I should be bringing in revenue. How does that feel? We haven't gone through that completely with Hurley yet. Right now, it's just been macro talking.
No, not with him. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, Sarah is going to send him and you the last 3 years of financials, everything I have from this guy. So you have them and you can look at them or whatever. The one big thing that came out of my win this week with my conversation with him is I laid out a pathway of how to get my inspectors on a salary, and then what numbers do those inspectors need to do in order to make that salary work. And it's going to help streamline our efficiency with payroll. It's going to make things a lot easier. So Sarah's going to have a couple things off her plate. And then for me, it's like, I know that every time we bring on an inspector, that inspector at $65,000 a year needs to do 250,000 in invoiced inspections. So in other words, the inspections that they perform will invoice at 250K. And then that's going to be my secret formula. Every time an inspector hits 250,000 in inspections, it's time to bring on another inspector. It took me a while because, like I told you, like when I was at the hotel, every time one of my sales managers hit $1 million, I just hired another sales manager. I haven't been able to figure out that secret sauce yet. And I think I just did this past week. So I have one very tough conversation that's going to have to be had with one of my team members, but the other two are going to be able to be in a good spot. And I think then it comes down to me making sure that we are doing 800,000 to $1 million minimum. And those numbers will all work and back themselves up to where we're not losing money.
And how does that work? Is that the way your competitors pay?
A lot of them are commission based. So per job, per inspection. Some are hourly based.
So that's the only thing to take into consideration is regardless of whether someone pays commission, hourly, or salary, where is your annual compensation going to fall compared to your competitors so that you don't lose home inspectors to other companies that pay more for doing the same thing. Structure is, structure. People just care about, am I going to get the highest pay for what I do for a living?
So 2 out of 3 of my inspectors told me like, hey, this is where I want to be. This would be perfect for me. And I'm happy as hell. And so that works. It's my lead home inspector that I'm going to probably in April or May, I'll probably end up losing, which is okay because sometimes we can add by subtracting.
Well, the point is you won't lose him because he's going to go to another place to get paid more money. If you lose him because he says, hey, I'm not making as much money with you, that's one thing, right? But if he says, hey, this is just now what the market pays, and he goes out there and looks at other home inspection companies and says, well, this is how much I would make with anybody else, he might end up staying on board.
Maybe, but I just know that there are owners of home inspection companies across the country that don't make what he makes in a year. So I feel good about everyone's getting treated fairly. So
I'd be less worried about the structure. Just make sure that you're meeting the market demand. So if there's a way that you can find out what your competitors, home inspectors make on an annual basis based on the same production that you do, whether it's hourly or commission, you want to make sure you're at that higher end, middle to higher end, so that you don't lose people just because they can go somewhere else.
Okay.
That's how, like, for warehouse work, service technician, blue collar companies, they all have to pay roughly the same or have better benefits or something so that people stay. There's got to be a reason for them to stay, right? But I like the idea of it being structured for you so you know what your monthly payroll is.
Yeah, and it's good for them too, because then they know what they're getting every week and everybody wins, It just comes down to making sure I am doing what I need to be doing to maximize them to get to that 250K.
Exactly. Yep. Cool. Alrighty. All right, what you got today, Tyler?
Today I'm working on, since it's raining here, we're here in Cincinnati. Working on administrative stuff. Following up with leads I haven't responded past week. Sending email, sending estimates out. I have a permanent lighting estimate on Wednesday, and then another potential customer on Tuesday. I've been seeing this past year that people who reach out through our zip code, we buy leads per zip code. When people reach out to those zip codes, I've seen more of an interest in people reaching out on via our website than when they just search "We Hang Christmas Lights Cincinnati" in like a zip code that we bought. So that's something that we have to look into in the off season, just to spread our name across our region a little bit better. We're putting up yard signs everywhere now. So we just got a couple more leads coming in online, just family and friends reaching out via Facebook and stuff like, hey, I have a permanent lighting question. Who do I contact? And we have family and friends that are just reaching out to them. So that's good. That's good news. My wife put together the payroll system, so now we can finally fucking start paying us. So I'm looking forward to that.
How much do you pay per lead? How much do you pay per lead, Tyler?
Pay per lead. It's about $4,500 a year. It's depends on how many, like the population size of a zip code. So people in like Atlanta, Houston are paying more than we are in Cincinnati. We have pretty much every zip code between us and Dayton, which is about a 45 to an hour drive from our house. So we have about an hour radius of where I'll go out for an estimate. But I'm not just going out for an estimate just to go out for an estimate. I'm pre-qualifying these people. I'm making sure that they're like about 90% willing to buy before I drive out there, because I have one out in Waynesville, which is about an hour drive from my house on Wednesday. So she seems very interested in stuff like that.
Tyler, what do you do again?
We do.
Wait, hold on.
I'm sorry.
One thing. Does anybody notice that he didn't answer my question?
What was your question? I'm sorry.
Exactly.
How much do I pay for a lead? Yeah.
I want to point that out because it's so common. Because if you do that with me doing that, that's going to be poor salesmanship. When a customer asks you a question, if you answer like a politician and you don't answer the question, that's going to reflect poorly in your sales presentation. Always make sure you listen to the question and answer a question when someone asks you a question. Even if you don't know the answer, you just say, well, you know what? I don't even know. But I want to point that out. Those little things are big for communication skills, whether it's with your significant other, business partners, leads, customers. It's so common for people to not actually answer a question these days because they just gloss over it. So that's why I really want to point it out. So do you know what your cost per lead is?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I haven't put the numbers together from the previous years and how many leads that came in. However,
really important for us to know the cost per lead for our business. Very important. So this is called customer acquisition cost, right? So start putting together a process so that you can say, hey, listen, we're spending $400 a month and I'm getting 3 leads, so that's $133 a lead, and I'm only closing 1. So I'm paying, $400 for 1 customer. How much did that 1 customer bring me in? What's my return on ad spend? And then what's my return on investment? We want to know those numbers when you start advertising. So many people just blanketly just write a check for advertising. I work with a client who spends money on Google ads, and we started running the numbers, and he realized that he was working for free. He was spending so much money on Google ads, and then he was thinking, yeah, I'm making money. I got the money coming in or whatever, but I just don't understand how my checking account, like there's nothing in there ever. And we started running the numbers, and he was spending so much on advertising and then doing the work that the revenue coming in was just supporting paying for the advertising. Now, I'm not saying that that's you, but we want to know those numbers. Now, here's another reason you'd want to know those numbers. Say, for instance, you know that you pay $80 to $100 a lead that comes in. Why don't you put out to all your friends and neighbors that anybody refers business to us? If somebody does business with us, we have a $100 referral fee. You're going to pay it to Google or anybody else anyways. So if you know what your customer acquisition cost is, and it costs you $100 to acquire a customer, put it out there. Let your whole community be salespeople for you. Refer me your cousin, refer me your uncle, refer me your neighbor. I'll pay you $100. People love to make extra money. I'd rather pay you, Joe neighbor, than Google. And we could do that if we know our customer acquisition cost.
Yep.
Cool. So see if you can figure out a way every month, how much did I spend? How many leads came in? That's your cost per lead. Then how many customers I got? Then you do the customers into the total cost. That's your customer acquisition cost, right?
Yep.
Those are real simple numbers to run because it's not like you're doing thousands of customers a month.
Correct. We pay about $500 a month, so I'll just run that between how many leads came in. So I will get that figured out within the week. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe you can get back the last 2 months and just say, I'll just look it up the last 2 months. How many leads did I get? And how much did it? Sometimes it can be eye-opening.
Yeah,
because we think we're making a ton of money. Like, holy shit, I paid $500 though for the leads.
Right.
That's $500 off top of the business I brought in.
Right. Because I know last year it wasn't we probably spent more money buying leads than we did closing customers. So this year I'll do it for this year and see if it's worth us spending another $4,500 next year, and maybe just spend it on Facebook ads or whatever. But this coming week, gearing up, I'm meeting with Alex Wilkins. He's coming into town for the Concrete Expo. So he's coming to the Blue Ash is about a half hour away from my house. So we're going to meet up and do some lunch, which is nice. Haven't met him, but we've been talking a couple times. That's this coming week, and then we're doing the town center. Doing that on Thursday. Got the lift being delivered. Looking forward to that.
Cool. Joe, he does Christmas lights in the winter and low voltage lighting for homes.
Tyler, I lived in Cincinnati for 13 years. I have a massive network there. So whatever I can do to help, let me know. If you connect with me and get me your info, I can get it out to a ton of people in that area and try to help you out with anything that you may need.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll reach out to you today.
Yep. You're welcome.
Joe puts out a thing. 10 people come in. You pay Joe $1,000.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not a bad idea. Thank you.
And Joe, you sent me 500.
There it was. I was waiting for that part. 6 years of being friends. It's almost like I know what you're gonna say.
Exactly. All right, Justin, you got anything?
Well, not a whole lot of great stuff going on. I'm in the middle of a series of unfortunate events over the last few weeks. I'm in the middle of a big break, so I just like Hope went on vacation. I got really backed up. I mean, it was a good thing. I got really backed up with so many orders that I literally I couldn't run the actual live feed. So I was getting those caught up, and then I just got so overwhelmed. And then I was like, I need to hit the pause button before I have a mental breakdown on camera, So I said, let me stop doing the live feeds for the weekend, which turned into let me hit the pause button because I'm getting so frustrated because I can't get that room done. I honestly, I can't get anything done. I can't get that room done. I can't get this room done. Like, I'm trying to redo a whole bunch of stuff, and I just literally can't carve out the time. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit the pause button 3 weeks, and I'm going to come back and be able to do all the stuff that I've been wanting to do for a minute. It's kind of like a little reset, rebranding. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but so it was rough, 'cause like, putting up zero goose egg for sales this week, by choice. I've been doing the TikTok live feeds, which has brought in like $500, which is kind of a lot for TikTok for doing nothing really, but for people sending freaking coins and whatever. But other than that, so I've been doing a couple live feeds a day. It's like 1 hour and 1 hour, but I stopped my Facebook sales for now until Black Friday.
Okay.
So not a whole lot going on in terms of sales, nothing really, but
How's it helping your mindset though? You feeling good?
this week was kind of rough. I've been pretty hard on myself, to be honest, about like the whole thing. But I mean, it's been like these days, you all know, these long days for the last 5 years, and I'm like, gosh, I just would really like to go to the gym once and not have to worry about, or like take the dogs for a walk, or so I'm kind of in that space where I just need to like chill for a minute and then come back full force. And I'm in the process of trying to figure out what I'm doing all together. So at combined, I think it just kind of hit me all at once, like, dang, I really need to get myself together here. But yeah.
This is one of the biggest issues, and I talked to Joe about this week, and it's same little bit for you, Tyler, if you ever decide to be a business owner, a big one. A business, it's very difficult to run a business and grow it and get to a point where we can appreciate the lifestyle of the entrepreneur lifestyle if there's no recurring revenue stream in our business. If you consistently have to sell more in order to make more, and you don't have recurring revenue contracts of just customers, repeat buyers, like clockwork, that feeling that you're feeling, Justin, never goes away. And it's more difficult, not impossible. It's more difficult to grow a business if there is no recurring revenue streams. Just because it's like a real estate agent, a real estate agent, they're only as good as their last month. They got to start all over every single month, every year they got to start all over from scratch, zero, and that makes it really, really tough. When you look online, or you listen to podcasts, or you go to conferences with entrepreneurs that have reached a level of success to where they build a $5-10 million business, every single one of them had business models that were scalable from a recurring revenue perspective. Not everyone, but the majority. And then the lifestyle that the CEO or the founder gets to enjoy is, I've got an entire team. And Joe has experienced this a few times now that he's gotten bigger, is you can go to the gym, you can go do something during the day, you can take a week off, and the business runs itself, because either A, you've got a salesperson out there selling and making you money, you've got recurring revenue streams making you money, you've got this engine going. And that's the whole goal of the first couple years of business. I know you've been in business more than a couple years. The goal in the first couple years of business is to figure out that business model that allows the scalability. And if a business can't find that within the first few years, probably isn't going to happen. Or is it the business model that has the problem in the business, or is it the owner not being able to find a way to get it? I don't necessarily think it's you, Justin. I think that your business model of selling crystals has a very difficult time of scaling.
I agree. And the only thing I could really, I rack my brain like morning, noon, and night every day about it. But I was thinking like I could get somebody to run a live feed for me, and then the rest, the shipping part, I have someone to do that. That's one way that I could scale it down the road, is to hire somebody to literally just do the feeds. Like, these are the prices, these are the things that need sold. But Yeah, I'm just in that mindset. I mean, it really hit me hard when you're like, I bought myself a $200,000 job. That's exactly what I've done. So I'm like, okay, I can continue this for the rest of my life if I wanted to, but
And
I can't.
it'd be one thing if you had a $200,000 job that you showed up at 8 and when you were done at 5 or
Exactly.
6.
Yeah.
You don't have that. You've got a $200,000 5 jobs.
Yeah. Up at 3, here till 7 or 9. Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to live like that for the next 5 years.
Yeah. And so that's the part to look at is if you did find people that could do live streaming and then you'd become a crystal wholesaler.
Pretty much.
So that the business is you can teach people how to sell crystals because everybody's got their own audience, they got their own personalities. That's why you see what 10, 20 people doing those bottles now, the drink things, there's
Oh, yeah.
23 of them. Then there's the people doing the candies. There's a ton of those. Like people say, hey, I can figure out where to wholesale and buy these things. And then I can have just a nice side business, maybe making 50 or 100 grand a year, or even 20, 30,000 a year, because there's, so they're finding items that have mass appeal. Everybody
Yeah.
loves water bottle, right? So they'll spend 20, 30 bucks on a hand painted water bottle. Does the crystal business represent a big enough opportunity that if you got 20, 30, 40 people doing live streams and you taught them how to do that, and then you just made your money from them buying the crystals from you because you can be the wholesaler and you make a profit in that, is that a business? Like those are the ways our mind has to think of how do I find that niche that you can grow that way.
Yeah, I've been trying. There's something to be said for because there's so many. I mean, on TikTok, my content has transformed into I am teaching people how to use TikTok. So, how I'm teaching people how to go live for the first time. And I've gotten, on a positive note, 44 subscribers this month, which is kind of like, or this week, sorry, 2 weeks. Um, it's kind of a big deal that people are like, oh, they'll pay money to be there to learn these weird tips and tricks, but how do I, $500 ain't gonna pay the bills, you know what I'm saying? So a week. So I'm like, I need to um figure out how I can do that. And it's like, do I want to do an e-course? Not really, or any of that stuff, but I probably could, down the road. I have a captive audience, there's 50 to 100 people showing up on TikTok every day, which is kind of fun. So I'm just kind of like exploring trying to figure it all out.
Yep.
But I appreciate you all for sticking it out with me.
That's fine. We'll find something, man. You just got to keep trying something that becomes that you can easily say this is duplicatable.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just taking this time to clear what's that?
Like for Joe's home inspection company, there's individual home inspectors that develop relationships with a few agents, and then they have a nice living per year because they've got 20, 30, 50, 100 agents that they have relationships with. Joe said, I'm going to go to the brokerage offices have 20, 30, or 100 agents, and I'll develop relationships at the broker level and with the agents. And then I'll hire home inspectors to go do it and I'll make an override. So he thought bigger. So it's the same thing with yours. How do you get out of that day-to-day one-to-one relationship and get to that one-to-many relationship? And you might be onto something with the subscribers. Do you tap in and say, well, how do I get those subscribers paying me $500 a month? If they spend $5,000 if I can show them how to make 25,000.
Yeah.
If you could really show somebody how to make an extra $25,000 a year, which isn't a lot of money, but a lot of those types of people would love to make an extra 1,000 to 1,500 bucks a month in extra money. So if you could teach someone to make $25,000 a year for $5,000, that's a no-brainer.
Oh yeah.
Right? So all you need is 40 of those people and you make the same $200,000 a year with a heck of a lot less time out of your time.
More time back. Yes, that's exactly
So
what I'm doing.
that's the way to kind of think is how can you make a bigger impact with less, but get paid more? How do you duplicate?
Awesome.
You either got to duplicate and have more volume, or you got to charge a heck of a lot more.
That's
One
it.
of the
I'm
two.
stuck in this like thing where it's like I can step back into my, it's like I could go live today and make make all the money I want to. They're like ready. They're all my customers are messaging me, wanting me to, and I'm like, I just need a moment to figure out what I am doing, so the sales will still be there when I'm ready to jump back in, but I am taking just a minute and Black Friday, I think, is the perfect
Like if you're not doing the sales because you don't want to do the shipping and stuff, then yeah, go find somebody for 20 bucks an hour to do the shipping. Like I would keep the sales going. If you go, hey, I don't mind getting on the camera and doing this and making the sales. It's the moment that I get off camera, I'm exhausted. And then boom, now I got to go fucking fulfill all these orders. If that's the part that burns you out, then yeah, I would take 50% of something over 100% of nothing. So I would
Yeah,
be
I mean,
like,
that's weird.
yeah, I brought in $10,000 of sales, but geez, if I pay somebody, I'm gonna have to pay them $2,000. I'm only gonna make $1,000. I'd rather make that $1,000 than nothing because you do like to do the live streams. It's afterwards we just come down and it's exhausting. We've exhausted all our energy putting on a show. The last thing we want to do is go fulfill orders because now we're like drained. So
For the last 5 years, it's been that. And so now I do have like people in place to do the shipping for me because it was really a lot for so long. But for the first time ever, the actual live streams were starting to bother me with all of the they were so long and the giveaways, and it was just like the big circus, and it became too much. Like, and every day I'm like, I'm gonna really embarrass myself publicly if I
I think it's I think it's all the other stuff going on though. If all that other stuff was automated and you did have positive team around you, I think it's everything else going on around you
True,
that's leading to feeling it on camera.
true.
If you knew that you got off camera and everything else was smooth running, smooth sailing, and you can be like, okay, I'm off camera. I'm going to walk the dogs. I'm going to work
Yes.
out. I'm going down to eat. I'm going to get coffee. You guys got it under control. Take care of the orders, and you didn't have to lead or manage or anything. Total different game.
That's very true. Well, that's the appeal of TikTok. I hit the live feed, I unplug the light, and then I go sit with my dog. You know what I mean? Like it's perfect, but I got to figure out a good way because, yeah, to blend the sales and that feeling, but I'll get there.
So that could just be the right people around you that you are hiring as maybe elevate that game a little bit. People that are a little more
Yeah.
self-sufficient. Get off there and you go, hey, I'm off the live stream. You got it. Let me know
Take
how
it
many sales we
away.
did, how many points you did, that you got it shipped out. Boom. I'll see you. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Right?
That's it.
Here's a goal.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
All right. Anything else we need today? Heather, you got everything? Tyler, you good?
I'm good. But I did want to ask Justin, so if you're going to be off of your live stream for a couple of weeks, do you ever worry about losing customers because you know how short their attention span is? Because I noticed when I was doing a lot of videos, I never did videos about soap either, but I was selling a shitload of soap with my goat videos. Then I stopped and my sales stopped. So I'm just wondering if you would have that issue, or if your people are so dedicated, they're just waiting for you to come back.
Well, it's even before we stopped, what was happening is that everybody's been so loyal to us for so many years that they were always it's like the same 50 to 100 people every week that are buying. So they are full, like we've talked about before. They've got as many crystals as they can hold, but they've always been very loyal. Now they're going to there's so many other people on Facebook that are selling things below what they paid for them. And I'm like, a part of my ego won't let me do it, but I may have to do that one day. So they're going other places anyway right now. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hit the pause button. I'll come back. Hopefully they'll all still be around. The people that are just chasing after wholesale pricing, there's nothing I can really do about that. That's not a business plan for me,
Yeah.
to sell below what I paid for it. So that's where I'm
I
kind of,
want to come to one of your streams and see what you're doing, because I have a friend who does crystals too, and he just changed his whole setup. Like it is big, it's flashy. He has a sign running across the screen the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like this big production. So I don't know if you're
Someone's
doing
talking about
that.
too.
So it seems like a lot of like, wow, that's quite a change, but it seems to be working. So I don't know what yours looks like, but
Well,
maybe
that's what we're in the
something.
middle of. Yeah, that's what we're in the middle of doing that I don't have any time for. So I'm like, okay, we're gutting that whole room out of there. We're getting the
Mhm.
walls all done with the lights so it's bright in there. I have all the stuff. Now I have the time. So
Yeah. Okay, cool.
yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. But what is your TikTok?
All
I
right.
want to check out what you're doing when you come back.
Oh, the TikTok is Justin Blue Fox, but all of our main streams are Blue Fox Crystals on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Have yourself a
Awesome.
fantastic day. Make sure you reach out if you need me anytime during the week this week.
All right. See you later.
Remember, call me before shit hits the fan instead of after the shit hits the fan.
Perfect.
I'd rather keep you
Alright.
out of trouble. I'd rather keep you out of trouble.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
All right, bye.